Cruise news time. Well, we got some interesting stories today. First, there's a cruise mom super angry with Carnival over their gas policy. Also, an update about fans on a cruise ship of all things. Do you cruise with a birth certificate? Well, I've got a cautionary tale there. And what's the worst thing that could happen to your luggage on a cruise ship? Losing it, right? Is that one, or is there something even worse? Well, something bad happened to some luggage, and it could happen to you. Cruise news. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Lido, Loca. I'm your host, Tony, here with the latest cruise news updates. Well, let's just jump into crazy cruise news story number one. There is a cruise mom upset with Carnival about their gas policy. A lady complaining all over social media that her helium tank was confiscated and she was unable to blow up balloons for her 16-year-old's special birthday. The 16-year-old special birthday, they confiscated her helium tank, and when she inquired to Carnival as to why her helium tank was confiscated, well, it's on the prohibited list item. You can't take a tank of helium on the cruise ship. Surprise! Happy birthday! Surprise! Well, this is crazy to me. Anyways, yeah, the cautionary tale here, the teachable moment, the learning lesson is before you go cruising, make sure you check the prohibited list of items so that you don't get your vacation ruined when you've taken some sort of contraband or tried to take some sort of contraband on the cruise ship and it gets confiscated. How about that? Now, before I get to cruise news story number two, I've got to thank the sponsor of today's news show, Babbel. Babbel, the language learning software application developed by language teachers on award-winning technology so that you could learn a new language in 3 weeks. That sounds fantastical, but it's true. And why would you want to learn a new language as a cruiser? Well, if you've ever been on a cruise ship, you know that there's sometimes up to 50 nationalities on a cruise ship. So you're exposed on the cruise ship to English, of course, but also a lot of languages. And recently, I was on the west coast of Mexico, and there were a lot of times where I was around people that were Spanish-speaking that I was thinking, wow, it'd be cool just to be able to understand what folks are saying. And so are you a traveler? Are you a cruiser? Guess what? You're going to be exposed to a lot of languages, and an easy way to learn a language is with the software Babbel. So I'm still working through the lessons on Spanish, and recently I've been working on just conversational Spanish. The cool thing about it is they give it to you in a lot of ways. Interactive games, podcasts. The one I like is where they give you a little bit of English and then they also give you the Spanish. That's one that I'm working through right now. So they've given me an English statement here. This is under the category Hola Amigos. One of the first things you learn to say in Spanish is how to blank yourself. How to introduce yourself. So introduce or excuse, how to introduce. So I'm going to choose introduce. And
Me llamo Leonardo.
Then they have a thing that you can repeat.
Me llamo Leonardo.
Me llamo Leonardo. My name is Leonardo. So me llamo Anthony. You can really try Babbel without any risk. They have a 20-day money-back guarantee, and to even make the deal sweeter, there's a discount for the locafam. You can get 65% off of your subscription by clicking on the link in the description below. So save some coin, try it out risk-free, learn a new language, and be in the know when you go cruising. Thank you, Babbel, for sponsoring today's show. Cruise news story number two. Let's go back to Carnival and let's go back to stuff you can bring on a cruise ship. We used to advise people that if you like to sleep with a fan and you're going on a Carnival cruise, you can just ask them for a fan and they would supply a box fan to you. That's kind of been the answer. Well, maybe too many people know about that now, and there's not enough box fans to go around. So there was some clarification handed out by Carnival that you can bring a small fan with you onto the cruise as long as it fits in your carry-on luggage. So bring it in your carry-on, get it scanned through the scanner there at security. Bring your own fan if you want to make sure that you have a fan. They may still have a fan for you, but if you want a fan for sure, bring your own fan. Do you sleep with a fan? Do you sleep with some sort of noise machine? Do people throw water on you while you're asleep? I don't know that that's true for anybody, but it just came to mind as I was thinking about it. So, yeah, if you want to bring your own fan, you can bring your own fan on Carnival. There you go. Cruise news story number 3 is just a reminder that the Disney Wish is almost a legit cruise ship. It's almost ready to service passengers. The Disney Dream, I think they're getting ready to leave Port Canaveral to make room for the Disney Wish. And if you're somebody that wants to see the Disney Wish come to Port Canaveral for the first time, it's going to happen on the 20th of June, sometime between 4 a.m. and 7 a.m. in the morning. A great place to check that out is Jetty Park. That's where I saw the Carnival Mardi Gras come in. I don't know that I'm going to be over there on the 20th. I don't know that it will be in Florida on the 20th, but who knows? Maybe we will be. But if you're a big fan of Disney, if you're looking forward to that new Disney cruise ship, the Disney Wish, which I know a lot of people are excited about, you can see it for the very first time coming to Port Canaveral on the 20th of June. Will you be checking that out? Leave a comment below. Cruise news story number 4 is about using a birth certificate to go on a cruise, but doing it all wrong. You know, interesting thing about cruising from the United States, you can use a passport. That's probably the easiest way to go cruising. Or if you don't have a passport, as long as your cruise is a closed loop cruise where it leaves the U.S., goes to a foreign country, comes back to the U.S., as long as it's closed loop travel, you can use a birth certificate. You need a birth certificate and a state ID. However, the birth certificate that you use is important. There's a story recently about a lady who wanted to go on a cruise, spent a few $1,000s to go on a cruise, showed up at the cruise port, had everything she needed, but the birth certificate that she presented was not an official state birth certificate. It didn't have the raised seal. It did not come from the state. It was a hospital birth certificate. It was more of a decorative birth certificate, something that was given to them at the hospital. And guess what? That won't work for going on a cruise. So the teachable moment of this story and the cautionary tale is if you're going to cruise with a birth certificate, make sure you have the legit one from the state that you were born. And I think most people are cruising with a passport. I ran a poll on Facebook, on YouTube, and the majority of people, I think it's in the 80 or 90% of the people are cruising with a passport. So for the 10%ers out there, the 15%ers out there still going on a birth certificate, you can do that. Super fine. I would say get the passport. Because the problem with the birth certificate is if you get stranded in another land, you cannot fly home. That's a big, scary thing. But if you're cool with that, if you're cool with that risk and you're going to cruise with the birth certificate, make sure you have the right birth certificate. Do you cruise with the birth certificate? Have you ever had trouble? Leave a comment below. How about that? All right, I got one more big cruise news story, and it's a crazy story about some tragic stuff that happened to some cruise luggage. It's almost hard to believe. It had to be rescued. That's a tease. Before I get there, let me quickly invite you to subscribe. If you like staying up to date with everything that's going on in cruising, well, I'm your guy. I'm here daily talking about that cruise life, and I'm happy to do it. Please join in. Be a part of the Loca fam by hitting the subscribe button with the notification bell, and that way you'll be updated. You'll be notified when the show comes out. Thank you in advance. All right, let's go to Southampton in the UK. The P&O Ventura loading up for its next cruise. I think this was just a couple days ago, and somebody on the ship noticed that there was luggage floating in the area around the cruise ship. Floating, as in the water floating, just suitcases floating. So in my mind, I'm like, yeah, it would stink if my bags got lost. That's probably the worst still. But what could be second worst is if somehow my luggage ended up in the water. And apparently what happened is one of the trolleys was carrying the luggage, and it got loose somehow, and the whole trolley got dumped into the water, and it put the luggage, it put all the bags in the water, and they had to deploy the lifeboats to go collect the luggage. So almost like a muster drill. Lifeboats in the water, there's luggage overboard. Could you imagine that? Would you be freaked out could you imagine if your luggage showed up in your room like soaking wet and there was a fish in it, like an old cartoon? You opened it up and fish flopped out of it. Like I said, from the helium to the fan to the floppy fish luggage, what a crazy day of cruise news. Boom! That is the show today. Time for you to sound off. What do you think about all this? Can you think of a crazier story to throw in there? Leave a comment below. Thank you so much for checking out the show today. I hope you enjoyed it. You can show your support for the show by hitting the like button. And unfortunately, if you do not hit the like button, I will be forced to punish you. And your punishment is this. Not only will your luggage go in the water, but then after they get it out of the water, and you see them get it out of the water, then they're going to lose it. It'll never make it to your cabin. So that means that your sea-soaked, unmentionables will be somewhere else, and you need them. Hit the like button. This is Tony for Lido, Loca. Until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.